Hey everybody, welcome to Everything's a Project. So it is Tuesday morning and we're going to take a quick walk through. Here's the Bridgeport, old reliable with the new head on it. There's my crane up there. Here's the welder, saw, grinders, all the tooling, surface grinder, tool and cutter grinder, magnetic chuck, a little buffing wheel, and here we start with the new Precision Mathews stuff. So here's the quick change tool post kit they sell. At least wanted to get this to get started with. Everything is Asian import, Taiwanese I assume. Here's the accessories. We ran into a couple discrepancies. So first one, these supposed to get a set of soft jaws, but these I didn't even know existed. So these are just straight steel jaws for the chuck, and those will be handy. So if you got something like you're doing a disc or something that's not a lot of protrusion out of the chuck, that would be nice to hold those, and you won't have to have as much offset, like spacing them out with like parallels or something like that. But yeah, so I already talked to them. We're gonna hopefully get those soft jaws coming. The other thing is I got two tailstock dead centers, and I didn't get the headstock dead center that goes in the adapter. So now, okay, so gonna get a little wonky. So, you know, it's a tight fit 16 by 40 lathe. So walk through here. This table will be able to go a couple more inches towards the wall once I get the mill table back on the mill. That's still hasn't really progressed. But anyways, it's comfortable here. This is on nice wheels, so this moves around real easy. So if I need to move it out of the way, but for just walking by, it's fine. I got enough room here for a pallet to come in on both sides. That's where the hard hinge is now. It went across. I made this real quick, and I'll extend it or do something so it accommodates the cord better, because it all that stuff goes on the other side of the crane, so the crane won't ever interfere with the cords. And if the Precision Mathews lathe works out well, for space reasons, I might sell off the hard hinge. But that's turned out to be a workhorse too. I've done all kinds of stuff on it. But the work can quickly get too big for it, and that's why I went with this one. So we got the shaper here. Saw that the other day. I'm leaning more towards selling it because I just need the room. This used to tuck behind the original big lathe that I had. That will no longer be the case. I don't know how I'll manage that, but it's handy. It holds all kinds of stuff. I took all the extra chucks and the backing plates and stuff off of it because it can get top heavy when moving it around. That's all stacked up over there if you can see it. Okay, so here's the first impression pretty much of the Precision Mathews 1640 lathe. So there was some plastic on things. I took it off, like the light had plastic, the chuck had plastic, it had locks for the table. I took that stuff off. And then this is the stuff that was mostly down in the chip tray. So the DRO, and it's wired for it already. It's got the behind here will be the scale for the X, and Z assumes in the back. There is I had them do the taper attachment, because in the past I've had instances to do some bigger size pipe threads, and so for at least that'll be good. Has the follower and the steady rest. So that's the follower rest, so it's attached to the carriage. the steady rest you put into place. So in general, with like a steady rest, if you got to do the work on, say, a shaft or something, you got to work in this zone, you support it to the left of that. That's the tool, the standard tool post that comes with. We'll do the quick change. One thing that is nice is it still has a preservative on it, but it's still liquid. I've seen where guys have had to razor blade it off, use solvent. For the most part, and that's what this is. That's what that would be. This is a lot more congealed. But all this stuff looks like it's just a wipe down, maybe a little WD-40. I'm not going to do any solvent because that tends to pull the oil out of the metal. So other features, one I think I'll like is you got a rapid reverse movement. So I have to play with that. Haven't used that in the past. Simple things like the guard for your hand. I've had where I've gotten soaked, you know, just whatever you're cutting, everything's just coming down on your hands. That'll be nice not to have that. The oiler is more like a what's on mills nowadays, so it's a one shot oiler. I think that's better. We'll see how all this goes, but like I had the problem with that other lathe, that's what one of the main things that went is the oiling system with the pump. It was driven off this here. There was a crash, broke the pump, and they kept using it, and everything got destroyed. It's got the forward chip tray, pull out chip tray, which is nice. That way I backed it right up against the crane post. All the electric is on this end, so I don't have to do anything over here. So that's nice. I also went with the Precision Mathews because it's still a 5 horsepower system, and I didn't want to have to change the phase converter again. It's got really good reviews. It's similar to a Kent. I've heard some Kents have had trouble with this, with the gearbox. Hopefully that's not the case. The speed range is good enough for me. You know, it would have been nice a little higher, but it's safer because I tend to do bigger stuff. When you get into bigger chucks, then it's harder to change them. Placement in the shop. Yes, it's a little awkward, but one, it allows the crane to easily come over it, and the crane will be choked up in this area, so I can put big stuff in here. I can change the chucks. You know, as I get older, I'll be able to change the chucks easier by using the crane. The shop is set up on this side, is got all the dust collection and air handler, so I want all the grinding and welding to still stay over here. So this is a good position, and this path is wider than it was with the Victor lathe in this position, so that's nice. It's tighter in this area here. I probably can eventually, I got to consolidate tools. So I had changed jobs, and at my other job I didn't have to have my own tools, but made life easier. At the new job they discourage having your own tools there, so I have lots of redundancy. So I think eventually this box could go. I had a cart there, and the cart footprint was even worse than this. So all the stuff that was in the cart is in here, but it's handy, and we'll see, because it's a little misleading because this has a big table, and you know they got the crank handles going to be in this area, and I already am backed up against the tailstock on the lathe with the tailstock all the way to its full extension, and the table would crash into where the shaper is now, but the shaper one, it's on wheels. I can roll it in almost anywhere, and it could tuck into the corner, whatever. But my goal is to pass it along. Okay, so that's going to be the introduction. So here, give you a good look at the controls. And now they got a fancy nameplate. I don't know if they had that before. Anywho, I'm gonna leave it at that, and then I'll get cleaned up and probably see you next for the first running. Thanks again.